Hey guys, and welcome to the TCC podcast, where we discuss everything coffee.
Hey guys, Stefan here.
And Theo.
Hello, Theo.
Hello, Stefan. Welcome to the next Podcast. My goodness, that one just ran away from me. Oh wow, I just got a cool tweet here. Perfect daily grind. Although Hawaii may not account for much of the world's coffee supply, the country's coffee production figures are expected to increase in the years to come.
Oh, nice.
That's just a random thing right now as you guys just popped in on the podcast.
That's awesome.
I just saw the notification here on my watch and I was like, ooh, that's worth reading.
Yeah, so today's topic is
coffee farms.
Nice.
So we want to discuss coffee farms, not per se in the direction of, breaking down specific farms. What we're going to be doing is we're just going to introduce you guys to a few farms that we have taken hands with. We've connected on social media and we've been posting a lot of their things because we want you guys to discover their farms. So if you've not been on our Instagram, please go and check it out, The Caffeine Community.
Yes.
Our website link is on there as well. You guys can go and read through our light paper for the trading coffee coin, the cryptocurrency that hopefully will uplift, or should I say definitely, but hopefully. Definitely. In my heart it's still hopefully, but definitely uplift the coffee ecosystem.
Yes.
Then we just want to discuss a little bit about what happens on the farm. Now, I know if you're listening to this podcast and you are a coffee lover, then you love coffee because it tastes fantastic.
Yeah.
Or you think you're addicted to it.
or
you just love the way it feels in your mouth.
Or both. All three of them.
Well, even let's add the fourth one. Or that's the only way you can wake up in the morning, We have those coffee drinkers as well.
Yes, definitely.
And so we would just want to give you guys some what's the word I'm looking for? Background, backbone, something back. We just want to give you guys some information around what actually goes into a coffee farm.
Yeah, because at the end of the day...
If you guys heard the previous episode, we've been really working on the end of the day type of, structures.
I think it's mostly my fault, but
we actually noticed why we keep on using it. In our language, in Afrikaans, we would say op die einde van die dag, like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so it's such a custom thing for us to say that when we translate over to English, it just comes with.
For me, I didn't know anything about coffee farms. Like I said, for me it was just I want my coffee, I like coffee, and I drink coffee. That's it. I didn't think about coffee
where it came
farm,
from, what it did,
roasting. I didn't even know roasting or processing or importing and exporting. I just bought it and I made it.
As you said, like in the first or second episode, you used to be a instant drinker.
Yeah, before I started drinking a bit more cappuccinos, flat whites.
Yes, correct. Before you actually started drinking coffee shop coffees.
Yeah, and then before I met you.
So he used to be a coffee flavored tea drinker.
Yes, exactly.
we call it re-coffee here in South Africa, and it was basically 65% chicory and 35% coffee.
Well, that's what I started on.
Yeah, right.
And then advanced to.
Yes, then you went to something stronger, and then something bolder, and
whatever.
And then all of a sudden you were like, it's not enough anymore. I need beans.
I'll eat it.
I'll somebody eat it. And you can't eat the instant coffee, unless you're my son. He, for some reason or another, loves eating raw instant coffee.
Oh, really?
I don't know why.
Interesting.
If there's a tin, he opens it up, takes 3 or 4 little granules and just pops it in his mouth. He loves it for some strange reason.
Okay. Any case.
Yeah.
So before we go on
into the coffee we're drinking.
What we're drinking today.
Woo-hoo! So we've got a beautiful international coffee here today. A coffee from Hard Beans. I love hard beans.
It's the second hard beans we're discussing today.
Second time we're bringing it up. They are from Poland. Phenomenal roasters. They are connected to so many different farms. Because Poland is so small, they have to specifically import almost through direct trading. There's not really a center, a middleman.
Oh, okay.
It gets purchased into Europe, and they would then buy from Europe, because I mean Europe has these humongous storage facilities that import coffee, and so they would then buy from the local importer. But this specific roastery, Hard Beans, if you guys want to check them out, it's hardbeans.com. They do outstanding coffee.
Yeah, definitely. Well, those that I've tasted is amazing.
Yes. So the coffee that we're tasting is a coffee from Brazil, so Brasilia. It's also from the Fazenda, just farm, obviously. Fazenda Sante or Santa Ines. It is in the Carmo de Minas or Minas I'm not going to pronounce that one correct.
As you guys know, we are struggling with pronouncing names.
Yeah, we still don't have the whole Spanish thing underneath. It is a natural process, and it is a yellow bourbon.
Ooh.
I think, Stefan, it's your first yellow bourbon that you're tasting.
It is.
Beautiful. I like it. Grown at 1,800 meters above sea level. Fantastic coffee. Light roast through and through. Hard Bean, just phenomenal roasters. Love them to bits. For those of you guys watching on YouTube, Hard Beans, I love them. If you guys want to see some of the pictures or just see us in the studio messing around, you're welcome to listen to exactly the same podcast that you're listening to now, just with a video to look at.
And put a face to the voice.
Yes, put a beautiful
Bold
face. You said it, not me. We always make jokes. I'm grey. He's bald. At least we can't complain about each other's problems. Until he turns grey. Then I don't know what we're going to do.
Well, the beard has got some few of them. So
I love it. Yeah, so fantastic coffee that we're drinking here today. So thank you, Hard Bean, for providing the world with fantastic coffee. Love it. Yeah. Taste the green apple, man. The tip of the tongue pops, and then it finishes off with this like beautiful macadamian pecan nut type of.
That's where the Brazil with
Brazil,
the nuts,
man. There's nuts. It's nuts.
It's nuts coffee.
But a lot of fruits in it.
Yeah, definitely. But that green apple pops on the tip of your tongue. It's amazing.
Nice lemonish citrus acidity.
Yeah.
Of course, V60 1 to 10. He went for a 1 to 10 ratio. He poured this beautiful baby for us in
5.5 minutes.
5.5 minutes. A lot of sugar, no astringency in the background.
Yes.
Really like the shot. We'll talk about extractions, especially on methods, in the near futures videos.
Yes,
I mean podcasts, where we've got a slightly different perspective on extraction. We don't just do 1 to 16 ratios. That's boring. We like to taste coffee, not toilet water.
Tea.
And we play with time quite a bit. We have a pedantic person in the group, Christian. He'll be on the podcast as well soon. I'm wasting 4 minutes.
And he's gonna pronounce our words perfectly.
Yeah, he'll get the perfect pronunciations. He is so pedantic. We can give him the exact ratio in the exact time, and he will pour it every single time. Because of him, we've experimented on 4 minutes, 10 seconds, 4 minutes, 15 seconds, 4 minutes and a half seconds. I mean, for 4.5 minutes. That was a good one.
That's good.
And so we've actually had the ability to taste differences at different times because of his beautiful pedantic hand.
Yeah.
So we experience coffee on what it tastes like, not just on the fact that it needs to be extracted.
Yeah, definitely.
But now we've wasted literally 3 minutes. Let's jump into the farms. Topics. So for me, I wanted to sit and chat about farms. I know on Stefan's side, because he's made it very known to me it's a very big passion for him.
Yeah.
He knew before we met
that
one day he wants to have his own coffee shop, be involved in the coffee industry, and mainly for one purpose, right? Maybe just give them a short version of the story.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it's about the if I can say it like this, the cheap labor on the farms.
Yes.
For me, it's a passion to go out to the farms to help them enrich their lives, give them a better life on the farm, help them to have better health, better knowledge, better education, just so that
Uplift their living.
just so that they can have a better life in general.
Yes.
And for me, because I have a heart for the people, and
Definitely.
and it's heartbreaking to me that because coffee is the second largest trading commodity in the world,
Just under oil, for those of you that didn't know
just
it.
under oil. So for me, it's just heartbreaking that it's so big, but yet the people that put in the hardest work,
Never
the
get
labor,
recognized. Yes.
they don't get recognized, and they don't get what they deserve.
It's so sad.
It's really sad, and that's the main thing why I'm here, and why I want to go out and uplift, especially from at the farms and at the source where it comes from. So,
Yes.
and when they have a better life, and they can produce better, they can give us more value.
Correct.
We already have a lot of good value, just when they live a better life.
Well, it's value to the extent that they are able to give us.
Yeah, definitely.
If we give them the ability to do it even better, they would.
Definitely. And
Yes.
it's like any human being, if you have a better life, a better quality of life, you feel better, you want to do more, you are inspired,
Yes, to increase.
you just want
yes.
to live a better life in general. So
That's it.
if we can do it for people on the farms, it's going to be a chain reaction that's going to go all the way to your cup.
All the way. All
So
the way.
that's why that's why I'm here.
Yes.
That's why I joined you and joined the TCC.
That's it. Yeah. So Stefan's
Community.
position in the trading coffee coin, or in the caffeine community, as we like to call ourselves, his position is basically like communications chief officer, the CCO, in the sense that his heart was always to want to connect to the farmer, to go out, even if he didn't know, how to make I mean, when you got in, you didn't know about speciality. You just wanted to help coffee in general.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
And then he learned about specialty coffee, and he was like, "What? We can even make the coffee better when we help the ecosystem." And so he got involved to become the communications person towards the farmer and the processor, and to connect back to us and the client and all of that. So that's a position that he's taken in, and he has filled the shoes. Actually, he has grown the shoes so much that the rest of us are struggling to hold up with this guy.
Hey, slow down. I'm not there yet, but thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take the compliment.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I always say, if you want to support a farm, don't necessarily get on a plane and go to the farm, even though that's important.
Yeah.
I personally feel, why spend the amount of money on a plane ticket to go to the farm? Yes, it's great, but we've got technology. You can connect over WhatsApp and Instagram. You don't have to fly all the way there. Now, do I want to fly to all countries? Yes, of course.
Yes.
But once I've bought all of their coffee, I would say rather take the money of the plane ticket and buy more coffee.
Yes,
that's how they feed the farmers.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, the farmers still need to pay the pickers.
Yeah.
And how do they do that? By you coming to them via plane to come and see the farm. That actually takes their time to go and show you around on the farm, and it's more waste when it comes to money than it is for production.
Yes.
I believe in production, because then the farmer wins.
Yeah.
Not just, I was on the farm, I took a few pics and all of that. So yes, that's great. I'm not against that. And if you can afford to go after you've purchased all of their coffee, go.
Yeah.
But I feel put your money into it first.
Look at the bigger perspective of things.
Yes.
So, like I said, put your money rather into it. Buy more coffee.
That feeds their kids.
Yeah, help them financially more than just you being there having a nice time.
Exactly.
So.
Yes, to have the nice picture.
Yeah,
Let them take pictures for you and send it to you, man.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
If you want to go there, like we said, we're not against it, but go there and make a difference.
Yes. Actually, then help the farmer.
Have an impact when you go there.
Yes.
Make
That's a good way of saying it. If you're going to go there, at least make an impact.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, But yeah, so we want to chat about that a bit. Now, being involved in a few farms. Now, myself and Stefan have had the privilege of going to a farm together in the past. spending some time,
Yes.
you're walking around between the coffee trees, meeting some of the coffee pickers,
Yes.
meeting some of the processors.
Yeah.
Um,
Lovely people.
yeah, seeing, and actually sitting with them, packing, like little plastic bags that you plant the trees in. So they take the little seedlings and pop them in there, and so we got our hands dirty.
And just a thing, I'm going back to the people.
Yes,
Just when you spend a little bit of time with them, doing what they are doing,
yes,
and
oh,
just
man, you
just
appreciate
connecting
it.
with them, the smiles that they give you, and the when you light up their life just by spending time with them, it's like a kid.
Yes,
It sounds strange, but it's when you give time to a kid, that's all they want.
yes,
And just give them the attention and time. But this is just when you really connect with them, just acknowledge them,
correct.
that they're not just the guy that's working on the
They're
farm.
not just a picker.
They are people.
They're actually
We
a person.
all are
Yes.
people, or a person, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then when you connect with them, just spend a bit of time, get to know the person. It
That's-
changes their lives,
Completely.
and they will never forget you.
That's it. That's it.
When you get back, they will. I guarantee you, they will remember your name, and they will know what
That's
you did
it.
in their life. Even if you just spend an hour with.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm blessed. I've been on a few farms, and it's exactly as Stefan says. I don't always remember all of their names, because obviously there's not just one of them. There's like hundreds of them that pick. I remember their faces. I mean, I'm not good with names to start with, but I'm fairly good with faces. And whenever I return to a farm, it's always them remembering me. They
Definitely.
always come up, hey, Mr. Theo, or how's it going? Like, what's new? You brought some coffee for us to taste again. And I go there and I would roast coffee for them and actually get them to taste their own coffees,
Yeah,
and it
because-
blows their minds.
Because they don't know that some of them don't even know how their coffee tastes like.
I think there's a stat, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm not 100% sure what the stat is, but I think it's something like 75 to 80% of coffee growers in the world have never tasted their own coffee.
That's sad.
Because all they grow coffee for
It's for
is
a
to
living.
feed their family.
Yeah.
Yet, they've never tasted it.
And the thing is, if they learn how to taste the coffee and know what their coffee tastes like, they're gonna produce better coffee.
Automatically, because then they know what it
Automatic-
tastes like.
yeah.
I mean, imagine you take a sip of your own coffee and you go, ugh, that's not nice.
Yeah.
How do I make this better?
Yeah.
Then, of course, better would come out from that.
Definitely.
Yeah, so a few farmers or a few farms that we are connected to. A farm that I've got a lot of respect for. I really love the processes they run in their coffee. Their quality is outstanding. Like, please go and check them out and support them, especially if you're local. Is La Hermosa. So Finca La Hermosa in Guatemala. They grow phenomenal coffees. I know they've got some bourbons. I know they've got some pacamaras. They've got some caturas there. You guys can check all of these farms out on Instagram as well. Fantastic coffee. Then there's one that Stefan
Yeah.
connected to very recently.
Yeah, very recently. So, it's Finca La Maria. So it's in Nicaragua, like you guys know from a previous.
Yeah, you like
I like
Nicaragua.
and they've got Marcelesa. So
If you guys
I'm
haven't
happy.
listened to the podcast on origins, that's where he mentioned his favorite origin.
Yeah, so these guys do 95% of their coffee is specialty, and they do naturals, honey processes, washed.
Yes.
I just think it looks like an amazing farm, and you can see they love what they do, they have passion for what they do, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna laugh every time I'm saying that.
That's the whole point.
You can see they really put a lot into their
Yeah, so they
farm.
put a lot of focus on
Yeah,
it.
and
Yes.
what I've asked them also, because they at one stage they said something about they need resources and stuff like that. So then I asked the question, what do they need? And that's what we want to do for farms. We want to ask them what they need
Yes.
and where we can help them get what they need to better their farm, to better their coffee, to better the whole environment. And
Which sets a very good point that Stefan just makes now is, so trading coffee coin, yes, is uplifting the financial part of the coffee ecosystem.
Yes.
But more than that, the website, we are planning on going 100% Web 3.0 in the near future, and make available freely like a coffee encyclopedia. So if you have information on coffee, like let's say you're a researcher, or you are a processor or a washing station that's been processing coffee for 15 or 20 years, we would love to invite you to reach out to us, because we can't connect to all of you because we don't necessarily know about you. We want to take your information, put it on a public blockchain, to make it available for the farms out there that really want to grow better coffee, but they don't have a library, or they don't have internet connection or Google that they can quickly pop onto to see how do you create red honey, coffee. They don't know. We want to give them the ability to connect to a web page, which will be free, really, really tiny, because to run a website through blockchain technology, each block is about 21 kilobits big. So that's really, really tiny. So we'll be building a website-based platform that will make available with really, really small, very, very slow, very, very cheap access to that platform. Like, you can take a phone with the worst internet in the world. Not everybody in the world has 5G. And you'll be able to connect to this website, download all of the information from the website really fast, because it's so small, to actually help these coffee farms or processors, or guys with information, to make coffee better, so that they can sell it for more money, so they can feed their family better. Again, the livelihood of people. It's about people. So then, of course, there is the coffee farm in India that we spoke on a few episodes ago. In the, I think it was the series of episode on species, where we spoke of the Excelsa species. And the Excelsa species is grown in South India Coffee Co. You guys can check them out on Instagram. Very, very nice. They've got a lot of Robusta. They've got some Excelsa there. They've got a lot of Arabicas. I actually think they might have some Libericas, if I'm not mistaken. So that means they've got the 4 main species on their farm. They do so much education, putting leaves on tables and showing the different sizes of different species, and showing you the actual farms. The other day, I think they planted out 5,000 Robusta trees. Where they were all standing there and were like, okay, today we're going to start putting them out. We're going to start planting them. We want to try and plant them in this type of environment, because that's the best environment for that specific species and variety to grow at best.
And that's nice education for people that
very much
that doesn't know about it. And
I mean, they're giving all of the information away for free.
And I mean, that's amazing.
So go and check them out. I'm going to quickly rush through just 2 or 3 farms here. Maybe you want to take the next 2 if you want to. Because I don't want to make this episode too long again. We tend to run over 30 minutes.
So, excuse the pronunciations, but it's Coffee Al Placer or Placer or something like that.
Place.
Yes, and then Pitalito Julia. I think it's Julia, because it's a
Julia or Julia or something like that.
The Rewanese.
Rwanda,
you see.
Rwanda estate.
I would go with the spelling. So the spelling and the pronunciation is 2 different things. But Rwanda estate. So Rwanda estates are very nice.
We actually have a lot of their coffee available in our shops. Love them, again, from Nicaragua, so it's one of Stefan's favorites. He's bought a lot of the Rwanda estate from my coffee shops.
And then Gold Mountain,
love their coffee, man.
Definitely. And then there's obviously Bau from Rwanda.
The processing plant. He actually buys from small local farmers.
So he supports smaller.
Emmanuel
guys.
is a washing station that buys coffee from, depending on which washing station, but I think some of these washing stations purchases coffee from like 50 to 100 different small farmers.
That's nice.
People that grow in their backyard.
Yeah.
That's their livelihood.
Oh, that's nice because
Yeah.
then he supports the small guys.
Yeah, and there's a very similar
That's
one
awesome.
in Burundi called Long Miles Project. They do exactly the same.
That's
Long Miles
amazing.
Project, very, very large, very phenomenal processing plant
Yes.
and exporter. Buys from a lot of small farmers.
It's amazing that these guys do the projects on the small farms.
Yes, focusing on the
yeah.
everyday guy.
Yes, and they're helping the small guy to actually feed his family, to stay, to produce more coffee.
Yes,
To-
definitely.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
Now, another farm that I have to tell you guys about, and just because a fantastic friend of mine actually works on the farm, his name is George. I'm not going to try and pronounce his surname. You guys can check him out on Instagram. We'll tag him. George works on 90 Plus,
Okay.
which is in Panama. Oh my word, do they grow phenomenal coffee.
Yeah.
And they also work with local farmers. So I think they're also even though they're a farm that processes, they also buy from other small farmers in the area.
That's amazing.
So they buy up. So it's this big farm helping out all of the smaller farms.
That's
90
awesome.
Plus.
Yeah.
Love their Instagram content.
Yeah,
they
no,
make
they-
coffee in the rivers. And
Yeah, and that's amazing. I watched those videos and it looks fun.
it looks so much fun. I would
like
love to go
Go
there.
and join them. And
Just go and spend
but
some time there with
Even
them.
their final products are amazing.
Yes.
If you look at what they show you, like the gift boxes and
Yes, they really give back to the community.
Yeah, and the thing is they looks like they putting a lot of effort in from cherry all the way to
cut.
to the end consumer.
Yes.
So and I think it's the first time I've realized or heard that they helping the smaller farms also.
Yes.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
And if the bigger farms can support the smaller farms, that would be great.
Oh, fantastic. I mean,
So-
they've already got the business plan in play. So
Yeah.
if by helping the smaller farms, they naturally help them to make their coffee better,
Def-
which means they can pay them more,
Yeah.
which, yes, here we go, at the end of
At
the
the
day,
end of the day.
helps the farmer feed his kids.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, with literally 3 minutes to go, I just want to kind of give you guys a small run through of what happens on a farm, just so you can kind of understand where our heart comes from and why we get so passionate about this. So because I'm very privileged in the sense that I've been, I've had the ability to go to farmers, pick with the pickers, process the coffee, ferment some of the coffee, play and experiment. I always feel that we forget what goes into it. And because we forget, and I say that we as the guys who are involved in coffee,
Yes.
because when we serve a coffee to the client, at a table or over the barista bar, we don't always think of these small things because the client might be in a rush. He just wants to
Yes.
grab his cup and go. So we would go out on the farm and we would go and pick coffee. Now, myself and 5 other colleagues went and picked coffee. Now, this was our very, very first time picking coffee, and we picked a bucket of about 20 kgs of coffee. Now, 20 kgs of coffee took us as 6 people. Now, we are not at any level experienced pickers, so we were picking really, really slow. It took us 6 hours to pick 20 kgs of coffee,
Sure.
cherries. With the 20 kgs of coffee cherries, we then went to the pulper. We pulped the coffee, which took us about 2.5 hours to get it nice, like just a normal wet process. Throw it in the top with water, pump it through, take all of the cherry skin out, all the cascara, throw it one side, take all of the yellow honey then at that point, and pop them onto drying beds. A few hours later, it was all on the drying beds, and we would then fluff them around. We would then have to come back every 2 to 2.5 hours and just turn the coffee around to make sure that we dry them equally on all sides. And with that, it was that commitment of going. I can't just go and sit next to the dam now. I can't just go for fishing. I can't just do what I want to. I need to go back. I need to go and turn this coffee around, because if it doesn't dry proper, you have an unequal dried coffee, and that just tastes horrible. That would then stay on the drying bed for anything between 3 and 15 days, depending on the process. We would flip them around and so on and so forth. We would then take that once it gets to the right humidity, so we would then put it into this humidified dryer, the humidified reader, and read the humidity of the coffee. And the moisture content would have to be anything between a 9 and a 14%.
That's
right?
a lot of info.
That's quite a bit of info. Then we would take that and let it rest for a while. So we put it into a bag, we let it rest for a little while. Then you take that, you throw it through the mill, the polisher, the dehusker, the parchment takeaway. I don't know what everybody's got a different name for it. But we throw it through the mill and take all of the parchment off. Then we've got these green beans. We would then take those green beans and then let them rest again for a few days, which from there it then goes to the roastery. Now, take into consideration that all the amount of effort that's gone through these pickers. Now, some of these pickers can pick up to 40 kilograms of coffee in a day.
One person.
By themselves.
Yeah.
Not 6 people on 120 kgs. One person.
That's amazing.
Now, I do know of certain pickers. I've actually met a picker who has the ability to take down between 50 and 60 kgs.
Sure, that's amazing.
And their hands are so practiced that they know when not to pick a cherry.
That's amazing.
Now, you would normally put like a little bracelet. For those of you watching on Instagram, they put a little on YouTube. They put a little bracelet around their wrist to check the color of the coffee to pick them at a right brix level.
So it matched the bracelet, the
cherries. Color, yes. Okay, so now we dry, we go into the roastery, we take that 20 kgs of dried coffee, we pop it into a roaster, and we walked away after, this probably took us about a month to obviously sort all of this. But from the day we picked 20 kilograms of cherries until the day that we had in packets roasted coffee, I only had left after 20 kilograms of cherries, I only had left 3.5 kilograms of roasted coffee.
From that 20 kgs that you picked?
From the 20 kilograms that we picked.
Sure.
On a yellow honey process. So on a natural you lose even more.
Sure.
Because
no, definitely.
Yeah, so. It is so labor intensive. So I wanted to tell you guys this experience that I had, which again, it makes me privileged to be able to tell the story, because it's created such a feeling in my heart towards the guys that work on the farm, the pickers and the farmers and so on, that nobody knows this. And I want people to know this, because every time you take a sip of your coffee, like you might sit there right now and you just took a sip of your coffee, did you actually think about what went into that cup? We don't.
No, we don't.
Because we think coffee comes from the local grocery store.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
There's so much going into a cup of coffee.
Yes, and they lose so much.
You had first hand of doing this, first hand experience. And I mean, I think if you do it like you did, I think when you drink a cup of coffee, it's a whole different experience.
The appreciation is so high, because
definitely.
I literally, when I taste something and I go, oh, there's red apple, I'm going, wow. They probably picked this perfect. They probably dried this perfect. Yeah. They definitely fermented or processed this perfect.
Yes.
The roaster did a really good job at caramelizing those sugars perfectly for me to be able to extract it and go, oh my word, I can taste red and green apples.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So much work.
And I think that's how we're gonna get people to really appreciate a cup of coffee, is to really know what's going into it.
Yes, don't just throw it down your throat at 90 degrees Celsius, guys.
And it's not just
goodness.
like it all happens in one day that you get coffee.
Yes,
it's a process. It's a
long process.
Months, 2 months, 3 months, maybe longer. It depends on what you do.
Some of the farmers produce, like let's say competition coffee. Some competition coffees can take up to a year from the day they start picking it until it actually ends up in a cup. Now, was it always doing something in that year? Probably not. It was being transported, or it was laying and resting, or they were working on roast profiles, or they were working on, pulling perfect ratios to get perfect flavors. But sometimes it takes a year.
But it's
to
time.
get that cup.
It's time that people put in, and effort that people put in to get that amazing cup of coffee.
That's it. So next time you take a sip, and I'll throw it. Next time you take a sip of that coffee, actually be conscious and think to yourself, I wonder what went into this cup.
Yeah. And then you're going to enjoy it more.
You're definitely going to have a higher appreciation for it.
I really believe that people will give back when they really realize what goes into a cup of coffee.
That's it.
That's what we want to do. We want to give back, and we want to help the farmers.
Correct. That's what it's about. So one last, I see a note here that we didn't get to. You guys can go and check out on YouTube, on Instagram. Sorry, on Instagram. He's a journalist. His name is Antonio Sergio. So Antonia Sergio. Even though I don't think you should search him on that name, what you should be searching him on is Revista Cafe.
Cultura.
Cultura, yes. Where did you write that? Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. So it's Revista Cafecultura. So it's Spanish. He's a Spanish journalist. He goes round, I think mostly in South America, to different farms, and he writes articles on them. Do go and check him out on Instagram. He does a phenomenal job in trying to educate the local community there about all the different farms that are available. I just wanted to give him a shout out because I love the work that he does. He even wrote articles on the frost that came down in South America and how the farmers struggled and what they lost and all of that. So do check him out. So that brings us to the end. We run into the 3 questions. Why this information? Why is this important?
I think it's important to really know what goes in to a cup of coffee you have. And this, when you hear this and you realize that there's many hours and hard labor that goes into a cup of coffee.
Yes.
You're definitely gonna appreciate your cup of coffee and understand the value that's in your cup of coffee.
Exactly. Now we're getting value from something we think is normal.
Yes.
So how does this make our coffee better? Well, if you actually stop and take a sip of your coffee consciously, thinking about what went into this cup of coffee, I promise you, you are going to taste more than you normally do.
Definitely.
That will naturally make your cup of coffee better because you're actually thinking about this. Now, this means you're not just pouring 3 sugars and milk into your cup before you taste it. This actually means you stop, you take a sip of your coffee before you add anything. Actually taste the coffee. Did the roaster do a good job? No, he burned my coffee to shivery. Well, go and chat to your roaster. Ask him not to burn your coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, did the barista do a good job in extracting this coffee? Yes, or maybe no. Chat to your local barista. Actually think about what you are tasting.
Yeah, definitely.
And I promise you, that will make your cup of coffee better.
Definitely.
And the last question, how could you apply this knowledge to your coffee life? Stefan.
I think to apply this is to really go and look for coffees that's really a good cup of coffee that gives you all the info.
Yeah, the traceability.
Yeah, the traceability.
Find coffee with traceability.
Yeah. And then you can go on and really maybe get to a point where you can connect to the farm and the farmer that supply the coffee and really just give back to the farmer, or just give him a thanks or shop or
take a
anything.
photo, put it on social, tag them and go, love your coffee. It means the world to them.
It will definitely make an impact.
Yes.
Because then they realize that somebody on the other side of the world really appreciate what we did and what we put into this cup of into this coffee that we produce.
That gives value back to them.
Definitely.
As they try to apply value to your cup.
Yes.
I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much again for listening. We are over again by 10 minutes. I think we're going to have to change this to the 40-minute podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll try and focus for the 30 minutes and end on 40 minutes every single time. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. Our challenge to you, of course, go out.
And may you find the happy place.
I love this.
Come on.
I love it when Stefan looks at me and
always put me on the spot.
I have to put him on the spot. I try and throw it out there because he thinks in Afrikaans most of the time. He has to translate. So we hope you guys go out. We challenge you to go out, taste every single coffee out there, and we hope that you find your happy place
in every single cup.
There we go. Love you guys and chat to you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.